Who said that? That's my picture. In the back, in the backgammon world, that's one of my nicknames. They call me Fugu. Right, the pufferfish, you know, if you prepare it wrong, you eat it wrong, you can die. That's
Long for die, backgammon for die, pipe for die.
okay. Zoom session start. Is it going? You just make sure it's going. No, I'll trust it that it's going. Okay, so we have a WhatsApp app channel. You know, Jane's on it, Carol's on it. So, you know, we have a SIG this semester, a special interest group on Saturdays that goes from 9:30 to 12 o'clock. And on this WhatsApp, you just email me that you want to be on it. I'll send you an invitation from WhatsApp. And you'll be able to hear all the chatter about who's gonna come and play. So Jane played yesterday, right? And
It was fun.
oh, good. And you won 3 times? And then somebody else let people win too, huh?
What he's talking about, everybody at the table won 2 or 3 times. So somehow he thought I was like, I don't know. And I don't know about letting people win, you know.
So these are players from the first 2 Mahjong classes. And you guys can tell them, they're all really, really nice people.
Yeah.
So 9:30 every Saturday, unless you're otherwise. So if you're on the WhatsApp, well, first of all, Debbie's the one who's mostly in charge of it. And she'll email you ahead of time if it's not gonna happen. But it should happen every time. I'm gonna substitute for her in about 6 weeks. And
We
then,
bring snacks.
oh yeah, that's the best part, right? Ellen brings incredible snacks. Right?
Makes sense.
Yeah, let's give her this thing. Okay, this is. What is this class here? Why is it? Classical Chinese Mahjong, 14th of, oh, my brother's birthday. Okay, I gotta call him. So let's review the things we learned from last time. Okay, what's rule number 1? Have fun, right? Absolutely, definitely, positively have fun. What's rule number 2?
Stay engaged.
What's that?
Stay engaged.
Engage. That's a good rule. We're gonna make it 1.5.
Okay.
Right, so wherever you guys go, you have to make sure you're playing by the rules they want to play by, right?
Yeah.
So ask about the house rules, right?
Oh.
Because they're whatever the house, the host, the group says they are, that's what the rules are. Right? Even if they say, no, you can't look at the discard tiles anymore.
A quick route.
Yeah. You have to ask what the rules are. There are 2 ways to win a hand, what are those?
Wow, really.
Mahjong, right? Get a Mahjong hand. And 1 more, way to win.
At high school.
Hmm?
Some sort of limited, some.
Right, exactly. Declare Mahjong, right, with 4 sets and an eye. And then you can make a limit hand also. The ones we looked at last time, right? Those are, you don't have to score those. Because scoring can be a little bit complicated sometimes. Okay? So those you know automatically. Okay? So again, a Mahjong is 4 sets plus a pair. So in this case, there's 1, 2, 3 pungs. I'm sorry, no, one first one's a chow, and a pung and a pung, and then a kong is 4 of a kind. Right? And then an eye of the one of what suit is that? Bamboo, right? It doesn't look like a bamboo, but it is, right? So the limit hands, we won't go through those right now. I'll give you guys a link for the website, even though it's still a mess. There's a lot of stuff in there that'll help you guys out. Okay, so what are the three suits? Okay, right. There they are, 1 through 9 of each of them. So we know it's all related to money, money, money. What do the circles represent? Coin, right? And then what do the bamboo tiles represent?
Strings of them.
Strings that hold it together, right? Right here. And like that. That's for the bamboo. And the bamboo tile doesn't look like the others because I pushed the button too fast. The one bamboo. And what do the character tiles represent? Yes.
So is it possible that you could end up playing where you don't have numbers on the tiles? And I would have no idea what's other than the first four, what those other characters mean? Is that?
It could be
is
the
that
case.
common here?
Yeah, we're gonna try and take care of that today.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, there are sets that don't have any numbers on them.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Just the Chinese characters, right? Or eat soup with nuts, east, south, west, and north. The wind, the four winds. They don't have an N or a W or E or an S on them, right? So these are the Chinese numerals up top. And the one below that means 10,000. Okay. Okay, so the ones, the characters, you know, if they don't have any numbers on them and no Arabic numbers, these three are easy. Right? 1, 2, 3. These are a little harder, but they're still pretty easy, I think, right? So the 4, you see the 4 vertical lines there? That's what a lot of people remember the 4. The 5, it actually looks like a 5. Take away the back legs of that chair. Got number 5. And 6. It's you know, Japanese, Chinese, the kanji, look, it says stick person. But you can't tell what it is. You don't know, we don't know the 6. Yeah, that's a joke, right?
Why do you have a bathroom set up?
Oh, that's oh, I could change the back or get rid of it, can't I? Let's do that. Because I didn't change the background this time. I do have it this last year. And then the 7 looks like a European flip number 7. That's where I remember. So for all these things, you can think of a different way to remember it, right? So for numbers 8, 9, and 10. Right, forgot anything with this. So 8 and 9, there's no 10, right? So I think of the 8 as a snowman on top of a peak in winter.
That's a piece.
So the number 8, right? And the number 9 looks like the N in the first letter of 9.
So I don't get the joke on 6.
Which one?
I don't get the joke on 6. It said it's a joke.
Oh, instead
I
of
don't have
SEX.
a-
You don't know what SEX? I said, don't know
Oh,
the
yeah.
6th. Yeah. Huh?
I still don't.
Right.
No, I'm a picture. Oh,
See this right here?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Don't know the sets. Okay,
Yeah.
now I can-
Okay.
Now I remember.
So now you'll never forget the 6.
Yeah.
So if you just,
The 9 looks alike to me.
yeah, they do look a little alike, right? Some people think of it as lowercase t for the 7. But I think it's just easy to flip it upside down. You really can't do it with this guy right here. Flip it upside down. Doesn't work, right, for the 9.
It's like the 7.
It's like an engine.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, so you guys know these 3,
Yeah.
7 more to learn.
Yeah.
And you probably, just from looking at this, right, you guys picked up at least 4 of them, I guess. Right? So if you do play with a set that doesn't have any numbers on it, like this set right here, because you will run into that. Okay. It's a good question at the right time. Okay, so reviewing, right? 1, 2, 3, the horizontal lines, 4 vertical lines, 5, I think, well, this one doesn't look so easy to see, right? But in the right-hand side, you can see the 5, I think. Then the stick figure, an upside down 7, a snowman 8, and the letter N from 9. So terminal tiles. Oh, it says graphics. I mean, I didn't put any graphics in. So for the 3 suits, 1 and 9 are the terminal tile. The ones at the end. 1 and 9. So
And why are we defining them?
why are we?
Why are you defining why 1 and 9 and not other numbers, just because they're first and last?
That's because when we come to scoring, it was a particular score that was fun. If we look at something like a chop, we have 4, 5, and 6. Number 4 we use in 4, 5, 6 as a run. We use 3, 4, 5 as a run, and 2, 3, 4. Three different runs. But if they get 9, only using 7, 8. And so harder to use, and so in classical Chinese mahjong, they increase the points you can get with that. Okay. So the 1 and the 9, the 2 ends right there. For the circles or dots. So I don't even know if I want to say the American ones, but in American mahjong, we have different names for some of these, right? Like this one they call, what do they call it? Bam.
Bams.
Right. So you don't want to use that if you're playing classical Chinese mahjong with a group. They'll kind of frown at you.
And don't call it a bam bird.
Remember, that's right. I hadn't heard that until last,
Yeah.
So 1 and 9 for the bamboo. And then 1 through 9, 1 and 9 of the characters and not like a crack, not crack, right? Characters.
Some people say char too.
Oh, I've never heard that. We're just lazy for saying character or. What is common in Hawaii also besides character is mon, M-O-N?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's so people play it in China, and so they usually Mandarin. They might play it in Taiwan and use Japanese. They play it in Hong Kong and use Cantonese. So the different names, the same things in different languages. I don't remember which one Mon is. But Shanghai is a pretty popular variant, so it could be Shanghai. Okay. So, okay, I decided we're not going to go as deep into this right here, but the dragon, right? Did I not do any graphics of these right here? Okay. Yeah, I didn't do any graphics for this.
Beginning.
I don't know which one it is, but I'm gonna guess this one. Let's try this one. Now we want, actually wants sheets. This is what I use when I'm putting together the graphics for all these things right here. Okay, the one in the middle right here. Actually, these are all 3 of the dragons right here. And obviously, well, easy to see, this is the green dragon, the red dragon, and the white dragon. For the white one, you might have heard bakban, or sometimes they say tofu here, right? Those are not the right names. There's actually dagger sometime here, right? And let's say the fa, they might say for this one here too. So I'm not gonna go deep into the history, and we'll do that next time, but basically, just like. The suits, they have to do with money also. In terms of acquiring government jobs. And then the wins. Okay. Okay, so these are gonna be a little bit harder to learn, but you can do it. Okay. So. Show you the seat position right here. Everything begins in the east, right? And they're the dealer. East and the dealer are the same thing, are synonymous. Then the next person to play is south, and then west, and then north. So if you're looking at it from north, south, east, west directions, the east and west look like they're flipped. And that's the way it's set up in classical Chinese mahjong. Just have to imagine you're kind of under the table looking up and you see those directions. At least that's the way Nicole Wong used to do it when she was a little kid, and her parents would be playing mahjong. So this is not the way that in the West we would do the directions for the companies, right? But when we would remember these, there's different mnemonics. Like if you're gonna memorize the names of the planets. My mother just served us, you know, that's what the Mercury. Oh, my very educated mother. Mercury, Venus, Earth, things like that, right? Or maybe you're trying to remember the Roy Biv. What's it, Roy Biv, huh? It's called Roy Biv, right? The colors of the rainbow. Do you remember something like that? So here, one thing that's common in Hawaii is eat soup with nuts. That'll help you remember that. No, the soup with nuts. So we were looking at these winds right here. Okay. So which one is east? Well, actually, these are in ESWN order, eat soup with nuts order right here. So this is east. The connections between what you see and figuring out what they are, they're kind of weak. So you just memorize this one right here. And this one also. And then W, you can see, almost see a W inside this one right here. And this one you can kind of see a stylized N in here. But basically these two you kind of have to memorize. Eat soup with nuts. So that would be all the tiles that we don't know yet, right? So the winds. And there's one more thing, flowers. But we'll cover that next week. Okay. So now that we know all the tiles, how do we play a hand? Because that's basically what people play in Hawaii. They play a hand, they don't play a full game. A full game is at least 16 hands, at least. But how do you play a hand? So you select seat, shuffle the tiles, you build the dragon wall, you cut the dragon wall, you label the dragon head and tail, deal the hands, and then you see what happens here, okay? So much of what follows is intended to randomize it. You're randomizing who goes first and who gets what seat, because the Chinese believe that it's important to, be in the east. You want to face a certain direction, and there's feng shui rules relative to the door. So a lot of things. So different ways you can do. You can select the dealer is, and this is what we usually do, right? We pull out the 4 tiles, you set them aside, you stack them in the middle. And then you roll the dice. So here we'll have 2%. Some people use, or some groups use 3 dice, which means it's less likely they're gonna tie. Well, actually, I've done the math for that, but probably, there's a bigger range, right? So probably not gonna tie. We shuffle them, stack them, and then after you roll the 2 dice, the highest number gets to choose the tile, the top tile, that's their seat. And the next one down, the next higher number goes, next one, third and fourth. That's one way, right? And then you go to the proper seats. But there are lots of other ways that groups do that. You can just put the tiles in the middle, shuffle them and pick them. You can just have, everybody roll the dice, whoever has the highest one. They're the first one, but then you just go around the table and they pick the next one, right? And some groups just do the highest number is east. Second highest number is south, right? Like that. So different ways to do it, but the idea is to randomize everything. And then after you do that, you get to choose which seat you're gonna go. So then you choose your proper seat, right? So again, eat soup with nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one is the same as the dealer?
East.
East, right? East is gonna be the dealer. So we'll see how when we actually play a game and a wind round, that will change. Usually every time, unless East wins, then they get to keep it. And to keep the
But you
dealer.
don't actually change chairs
Well, you don't have to change shares.
once you sit down.
We have. Leonard Young made us little a 3D printed plastic cards that show east, south, west, north, and you turn it each time. And you keep track of it.
Go back to the first point, you said set aside the four tiles, these are the wins, what does that mean?
So these guys. These are the wins right here, right? And these will determine your seat position, however you choose them. Whether you highest, you have the 4 tiles in the middle, highest person rolls, gets to choose one, second, third, fourth, right? Then that'll give you these tiles right here. And then those are your seat positions. And whoever's east gets to choose first where they want to go. Whoever gets this first tile right here gets to choose where they're gonna sit. And we're gonna remove the flowers. Because that alone can be a little bit of confusion, right? Then shuffle the tiles. What does that mean? Shuffle means. Okay, so that's shuffling the tiles. And they have wood around the edges right here. So the tiles don't fly off the table.
Right.
Okay. Is that the theremin again? Okay. Here we go. Okay. So you chosen seats. And now you've got to make this thing that's called a dragon wall. Okay. So after you shuffle them, normally you grab 18 tiles across, stacking two on each, right? But this time we're going to do just 17. You're taking out the 8 flower tiles. And you make your 2x17 today, and then push them to the middle. Now you make a beautiful wall like this right here. The dealer will pick up the dice and make sure they pull it to themselves so it's getting in the way. And this is where you start right here. Again, eat soup with nuts, right? East, south, west, and north. Now you have to decide where to cut the dragon wall and how to deal that is the theremin again, right? So Michael Brezel teaches.
Yes, I'd like to go. Making music.
You think you right. But he's teaching a calligraphy class right now.
That's fun.
So 2 weeks ago, he taught the theremin class. Okay. So we roll the dice now to determine which wall to break and where to break that. So east is the one who rolls the dice. And that number is used for both determining which wall to cut and for where to cut in that wall, where to divide the wall. Okay. So let's say east rolls a 7. Okay, so starting with them, one, I recognize that. Who sang it? Was that Jiminy Cricket? When you wish upon the star or Pinocchio, right? I think it was Jiminy Cricket that sang it, right? Okay, so if they rolls a 7, right? They start from the dealer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the wall you're gonna cut, the west wall. Yep. And then you count from the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that will be where you want to divide it right there, after this, between the 7 and 8 stacks. Okay, so those first 4 right there will be for the east, for the dealer. And then it'll go around this way right here around the wall. First east and then south and then west around like this until everybody has 12 tiles. Okay. So south will get stacks 10, 11, west will get stacks 12 and 13, north will get stacked 14 and 15, right? So you go all the way around and get 12 tiles, but a mahjong hand starts with 13 tiles in it, except for the dealer. The dealer's gonna start with 14, just to, so that normally on your turn, you're gonna grab either one from the wall or one from the discard pile. In the very beginning, there's no discard pile. So you just give the dealer an extra one. Okay. And on the right-hand side, that would be called the dragon's tail. You deal the tiles all the way around, and you're left with the dragon's head at the top. So the dragon's tail is also used as a flower wall and for replacement of the kongs. But that's next week. Okay. So all-time classical Chinese mahjong players don't do this, but we do this in Hawaii, and younger players also do. What they do is, sorry, Michael, they take the 2 tiles, like on number 7 right here, and put it on top. Sort of kind of in between the 5 and 6, or either right under and 6, right? And that's so they can remember which side is the tail. But if you do it with an aunt or uncle who's playing forever, they'll say, "What are you doing?" Right? You don't need to do that. You just have to remember. Right? So I've seen younger players doing a lot more, and we do it here in Hawaii. Okay. So this is how they go, 4, 4, 4, all the way around the table, and everything, even though you're going from this way right here to grab the tiles. That's like that, right? Grab tiles. You're giving them out in the same direction right here. East, south, west, and north. Everybody has 12 tiles. Now for the final tiles, you need to get to 13, right? So These are the final tiles inside the dragon's head. So east will grab 1 and 3 at the top. And then south, next person will grab the one on the bottom right, and then west on top and north. So that gives east 14 tiles, and all the rest of them have 13 tiles. So I'm gonna start giving you guys courtesies right away. One thing is that when you're dealing the hand, you don't start setting them up yet. Because that'll slow things down. And old time players are really mad at you for that. They want to get them out there. And you often, in Hawaii, we aren't as strict about this. But they also, you don't want to handle other people's tiles. And they think maybe you're trying to take their luck. They think maybe you're cheating by putting tiles in on them. It's kind of hard with these bigger tiles. But I'm sure there are people that can do that. So you let everybody grab their own tiles. There's a number of courtesies, and there's usually a reason behind them too. Okay, these two are pretty easy to understand rules. So, okay, again, don't arrange your tiles until all the tiles are dealt, and don't handle other people's tiles. Right? Okay, so the way the game works is the first player either takes one from they don't take anything yet because they already have 14 tiles. They have to choose which to discard. Unless they already have a winning hand. Maybe they have a mahjong, maybe they have a limit hand already, that the first 14 tiles are dealt. That's really lucky, bless you. And it's called a heavenly hand. The dealer gets that. And you go around after they discard a tile, they don't have the mahjong, next person goes, and they either take the last discard tile, or they take one from the wall. And they discard the tile. It's all the way around, keep going around. If anybody in that first round has grabs that 14th tile, and they have a mahjong or limit hand, then they have an earthly hand. That's not enough to too. Those are good in that they don't have to be scored. Because they usually pay the table. And in Hawaii, that's usually 1,000 chips. And you might start with 5,000 chips. Okay. So we played a little bit last time. We learned what an eye is. What's an eye? There, right? And a child.
Secret run.
Three, right? A pump. Three of a kind, and the calm. Right? So if somebody discards a tile, who can claim that tile for a child? Only one person. The next person, right? The next person can claim it. They're the only one.
Like if you pick up that discard and makes it a towel for you to say, are you supposed to display it?
So you don't have to display it right away.
You don't have to.
If you pick it from the wall. If you take something from the tile, the discard tile, you have to display it. Because you have to show how you're actually using it. So, but if it's from the wall, you can keep it concealed. And there are strategic reasons why you want to do that. A simple reason you might want to do it is you don't want to show your opponent with and you're starting to get it. Another reason is once you declare it, then you can't use it for anything else. It has to be that. If you keep it in your hand and it's sealed, you want to change how you use that tile. Maybe for something else, for a tongue or a palm or another type of chow, right? Well, that gives you more flexibility if you keep it hidden. So only if you grab it from the wall can you keep it hidden. You take it from the discard pile, you have to show it.
On the discard, if you pick the discard.
You can pick up discard, right? So how you can use it, right?
You know, the video you were showing us from the crazy Asian thing, and at the end, they don't show their hands because I don't know, they kept their whole hand in non-disposed. Was that right, or should they have been?
So Eleanor was the person that claimed the tile. But the future mother-in-law claimed the tile, and she said pong. And so she had to declare, she took it from the discard pile. It was a tile that Rachel discarded.
Right,
So she did declare pong and she had to show that.
they just showed the whole hand.
No, just the pong.
Okay, but she showed the whole hand.
At the end they
At
did,
the end,
yeah.
she won.
Okay,
So we'll see what all that meant, right, later on.
okay,
So with a child, the last discard, if someone's gonna claim a last child for a child, the only person that can do that is the next person in line. But what about a Kong? Or a pung? Anybody, right? Anybody can claim that.
You had to pick that up. I thought for a prom, you had to pick that up from the wall. Then you pick it up. when it was-
So that's a difference, that's a special case of something else. We'll talk about that. But if you have three, or if you have two of a kind in your hand, you see that third kind come out. You can, and yeah, let's say. East discarded it. Let's say East discarded that one right there, and West or North can claim it. They can say Kong or Kong and claim. Okay?
but they don't have to display it,
Yes.
Yeah,
they do have,
they do.
okay,
Anything from that discard pile, they have to. Display that.
South can claim it too, right?
Hmm?
South can claim it too, or a prom or a prom.
Yeah, so South claim it too, but not only South, if East discards something, only South can claim it for a child.
Oh.
One of three. Any of them can claim it for a pung or a Kong. Now, what happens, if some of these people want this, two of the players want the same tile. Then what do you do?
She's gonna.
The
Hmm?
one who's after the dealer. That's what.
In some cases, yeah, so the first thing, there's a priority. Right? Oh, here, let's do this, I've got something here, I just realized I forgot something. Oh, okay. So this is the order of preference. If someone can claim the tile for a mahjong, they get it. If someone wants to claim it for a Kong, then the person wants to claim it for a chow. Person that can make a Kong gets it. But regardless of where they're sitting, right? If somebody wants to grab it for a pung, then they are going to outrank a chow. So if you have mahjong, you can claim it, you outrank all of them.
You're not taking tiles in order.
So this-
Out of order.
Out of order. Right?
but you could have two people that would both try to do a prom.
We can't do it, that means they each have to have three already of that. That's
That
a
prom.
tile, right?
That's impossible.
There's only four of them total.
Well,
You
okay.
can't have four of the same.
So same thing with a pung, you can't have two people wanting to do a pung.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
Is it that you declare it verbally or you have to grab it? Like you can, whoever declared it verbally, like,
Sure, yeah, you want to verbally, but if.
or is it whoever you physically grab it?
No, this-
What is it for?
That's violent.
Got it, I wasn't sure.
Wow, we played with real band with sticks. Yeah, so, yeah, so somebody says, oh. Like someone on group said, Chotomate, and wait a little while. Right, they say, okay, they want to claim it for a Kong, somebody else wants to claim it for a child. You don't have to say it, it's not the first person who said it. But you both have to declare, and then you do this right here in terms of preference. Priority. Okay. So sometimes that tile might be wanted by three people. And usually that's somebody like that wants the mahjong. So, okay, so yeah, the bottom thing says mahjong preference over both Hung and Chow and Kong also, I should have added. And Pung has preference over Chow. So what happens if a tile is taken out of turn?
You hit them with the bamboos.
No, not this week. That's only if you don't pay attention and you need some reinforcement, right? So let's say East discards and then West claims it for a Pung. Okay, what's they can do? They can't claim for a Chow, so they claim for a Pung. Or a Kong, that's Mahjong. But they claim it for a Pung. Who's gonna go after West? North, right? South gets skipped. So,
That situation where child discarded and two of us wanted it from our.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's the next case. So what, so you have to about in terms of order. So in this case. Let's say, South and West both want to claim it for Mahjong. Okay, who's gonna get the tile?
Yeah.
South is next in order. Okay, so how did you guys just got decided that way?
Yeah.
They should have known. I mean, that
Yeah.
maybe you're like, should have known. American, what happened, American?
I've never seen, I've been in America, but I've never seen that situation.
Oh.
I think it's important.
Yeah, it might be harder to do with the cards you have to pay $15 a year for. Right? Okay, so now technically we start playing
Oh,
the game.
back to the, what happens if somebody takes the wrong?
So what do you mean?
Who doesn't? It was right before the last time.
Right before the last one?
Who claimed, that's claimed out of turn, if a tile is claimed out of turn, then the next player's turn is. The
Yes.
player after who took the tile.
So yeah, the person after the one who took the tile. So in this case, if North,
Oh, okay, after that, oh, okay, I got
so East could discard, North could claim it for something like a Pung or a Pong,
you, okay,
and then East gets to go again next turn.
okay.
Well, that's the best situation. Okay. So we start playing a game, but yes, so we'll set the table, I guess. Let me see, let me make sure there's not. I'm gonna go through and make sure I didn't forget something important. Yeah, so some of those things like the term definition of the terminals, those will make a little more sense later on when we talk about scoring. Okay? The website will have a page with limit hands, the ones that we accept as limit hands. And I haven't seen any group that plays as many as we do. But almost only with one exception, they're all ones that are classical Chinese Mahjong limit hands. Okay.
Like, did you explain to us what limit hands were? Did I miss that?
I'm sorry, what's that?
We haven't covered that one.
Well, last time I just showed you guys what they look
Yeah.
like, right? Okay, we can do that here. Let's see. Limit hands. You guys can see before me. What are the limit hands? It's after this one right here. Those from our website right here. Limit hands. So these are special ones. Some of them are kind of hard to get, right? And these are the 4 Kongs. Okay, and you have anything as an eye. So the ones that are in mauve or light purple can be any pair. All right. These are concealed for pungs.
Does the pair have to be from the special tiles?
No,
The pair at the end, does that have to be from the special tiles like?
No, they
two
can any
green
pair.
dragons or something?
So in this case right here, yeah, anytime something's kind of grayed out, then it could be any pair. Okay, any pair. And let's see. Normally you'll end up with 14 tiles, right? See this right here? 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. But in the case of the 4 Kongs, you're gonna end up with 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 tiles. So every Kong that you get, you're gonna end up with 1 extra tile in your final hand. Okay. So orphans and angels. You see the terminal tiles here, right? The 1, 1, 1, the 9, 9, 9, and then the 4 winds, and then the 3 dragons, and then one of any of these tiles right here. In this case, another one of bamboo. And all terminals hand. There's also a limit hand. Okay. So in this case, since the eye is not grayed out, and so it has to be one of the terminals also.
So, or to accumulate the extra cards, where 18 order, is when you have 4 of a kind. You don't discard.
You do restore. So that we'll get that next week because it's restored from the flower wall.
That's where it comes.
Right. The big 4 wins, right? And then any eye, any pair can be an eye. The little 4 wins, you have 3 of the wins plus another pung, and you know, the eye also has to be a win. Big 3 dragons, little 3 dragons, all winds and dragons. So things like this are hard because there's only 4 white dragons, right? And only 4 north. So you can't. These types of tiles can be used in fewer ways. They can't be used for chows, right? No runs. They're going to be used for pungs or kongs. So that's why they're a little more valuable also. Okay. The 9 gates, you have 3 of the 1s and 3 of the 9s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the end, and then 1 of any of these guys right here. Okay. Heavenly hand. What's the heavenly hand?
Willie deal.
We deal, and who has to have it for the heavenly hand? Dealer, right? And then for the, if anybody else in that first round gets it, the earthly hand. And then not everybody here plays this one right here. But we play it because it's really hard, actually. It's hard because you can't grab something from discard pile. Right? Everything has to come from the wall. Everything.
and I just wanna make sure, and you can have a Kong in there, so you can have 2 pairs. Like the same, okay.
At least that's what it seems, that seems to be the case from looking at books like Evie Wong. Yeah, Nicole doesn't address it all, and most of the other books don't address a Kong as 2 pairs. Because most of the books to get into limit hands like this. Okay, so clean pairs, all 1 suit, plus the honor tiles. So these are 3 different kinds of 7 sisters. Again, really hard to get, because you have to grab them from the wall. Right? This is one that's not standard at all. The jade hand. And you can't play with all sets. But some of the tiles are all green, right? They're jade colored. And they're all green, you can place them like this right here in our version. Some of them, like these same bamboos, will have on the 5 bamboo. They'll have a color in the middle. Something other than green. Right? Okay. So these are limit hands, are harder to get. They usually score either the table limit, like 1,000. Sometimes they score double the table limit. Sometimes they score the half a table limit. Right? So when they score double the table limit, that's when you're playing really cutthroat mahjong, because it's that person that gives them that final tile that has to pay double. Okay? And I think we want to take a break right now. Let's see, I want to go make sure that I didn't forget anything important. Important to remember to call these things the right names when you're playing classical Chinese mahjong. Okay.
But they have the
Hey.
same rule as American Mahjong, if you discard and you say the wrong tile, you're out.
Oh, no, we didn't, not that cutthroat, yeah.
Really cutthroat.
Well, we are.
Yeah, well, but we don't follow that rule.
But that's a good point, and whenever you just start it out, you need to call it what it is. Maybe you're playing somebody who's visually impaired, can't see it really well, so then you want to call out what it is. If you call it out wrong, then I don't know it. And, okay.
Violent mahjong, you get hit with ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Okay. So the one bamboo, usually represented as a bird, right? Couple here, right? And this is what they, one of the reasons they might call this thing a peiling, which is a beautiful singer. And they might refer to mahjong that way also, right? Three. So you can find your own ways of remembering the numbers and remembering the wins. They don't have to be. They don't have to be the same as this right here. They could be any way that'll help you remember them. Okay, and what we're gonna do today is just one game of mahjong, or show you what one game of mahjong is. We're not gonna get into, I'm sorry, one hand of mahjong. We're not gonna get into a game, which is 4 hands in a wind round and 4 rounds inside a game. Okay.